Good morning, guys. It is the wee hours of Sunday morning. It's just after midnight, so I'm going to whisper at you a little bit so I don't wake up all the neighbours. I hope that's okay. As you can probably tell by the title of the video, I'm about to start a 24-hour reading vlog wherein I am going to attempt to read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier in 24 hours. I don't know how other people do this. I've seen them do it in a couple of different ways, either doing 12 hours on one day and then 12 hours the following day. I have decided to challenge myself to stay awake for the full 24 hours, so midnight now till midnight early, just turned Monday. Try and stay awake for the full 24 hours and read Rebecca in that time. I think I'm going to read a chapter, I'm going to have a little break, do something fun, read another chapter, have a little break, and probably check in with you between each chapter and discuss how I'm feeling about the book. I have never timed myself reading before, so I don't know how long this is going to take me. It's 428 pages long, so it's a pretty decently sized book, but I've read books with this many pages normally over 2 days, but I'll probably only be reading for like 4 or 5 hours a day. So I don't know, there's a little part of my brain that thinks I'm going to have this finished by 7 AM and then I'm going to feel really silly for starting so early. But maybe not. We've got the full 24 hours. We can have fun, we can do fun things in between, breaking up the book a little bit. And if I finish early, I can just go to sleep. Which will be good because I do actually have to work tomorrow on Monday, so the earlier we can finish and the more sleep I can get, the better. But here we go, this is the start, first hour of this 24-hour readathon, and let's dive into chapter 1, shall we? I'm gonna just jack it off. Okay, reading update. I think it's just after 2 AM and I'm 4 chapters in. They're actually really short chapters, so I'm probably going to read a few chapters and then take a break because they're much shorter than I expected. It has taken me a little while. I didn't realise it was 2 AM already, but I am very sleepy, so I've been reading slowly and then sort of having a little break to get up and have a little wander around and have a stretch to keep myself awake. I don't know if I'm going to cave in and have a little nap soon because I am a bit tired, but I am loving the start of this book. I feel like I've just been immediately hooked in the writing style, and it's just beautiful. I can tell why this is such a beloved book. It's gorgeously written, and the first chapter is sort of a dream of the big house that the book is set in, and it's just luscious. I think it's the only way I can describe it so far. So yeah, still at the very beginning of the story, not too much has happened, but just very much enjoying the writing style. Okay. Wow. I fell asleep. I put it off, I fought it for as long as I could, but I fell asleep somewhere around 3. I've just woken up. It's just around 8 AM now, the sun's just rising because it's autumn. So yeah, I did sleep a little bit, but we're back awake. We're gonna carry on. We're gonna grab a little bit of breakfast and dive right back into the book. Also, I'm so sorry about my voice. This is what I sound like when I've just woken up. It's all weird and not coming out right, but let's have some tea and we'll have some water, and then hopefully I'll sound a bit more normal when I'm talking to you. Hello. It is, I think it's about 10 AM currently. I've just finished chapter 7 of Rebecca. I think now that I am less tired, more awake, I can make better progress with this. So I'm a bit hungry, so I think I'm gonna have second breakfast and tidy up the kitchen a little bit and then dive back in. I want to talk to you about how I'm feeling about this, but I also don't want to give away too many spoilers if you haven't read Rebecca. So what I will say is that at present she has just moved into Manderley House and I am still enchanted by the writing style of this book. It's just the most luscious is the only word for it. It's the most beautifully written. I can see why it is beloved and a favourite throughout the generations. It's gorgeous and I can't believe I'm only just reading it for the first time. I love it already and I'm excited to dive into more of it and see where it goes. So let's have second breakfast, shall we? Okay, that's a little bit more tidy. So yeah, as I said, it's second breakfast time right now, which today I think is going to be waffles and eggs and orange juice. I normally actually have a savoury breakfast first and then something sweet like a pastry after, but I was just, when I woke up after my impromptu nap slash short night's sleep, I was just tired and there was no energy for even making something as simple as waffles and eggs. So we did the pastry first and now we're gonna do the savoury breakfast, which I'm looking forward to, and then we're gonna dive back into the book. I have just finished reading
chapter 10. I'm 119 pages in, and I like how unhurried it is. We're still on the first day at Manderley House, and I'm just liking, I think in older books and as I was saying, I think in older books and older films there's such a unhurried sense that's really nice. We're in so much of a rush nowadays, aren't we, with movies and the things that we consume online, and even in books it seems. You don't realise it, but you're so used to a very hurried pace and everything happening at once, and this is just deliciously atmospheric and descriptive. And we're still on, like I said, the first day at Manderley House. Yeah, Manderley House. And it's just setting the scene beautifully this far through. So I've got I've got a way to go. I think it's time to get dressed. Probably shouldn't spend all day in my pyjamas, so I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to take this little madam out for some fresh air and see if we can find some nice autumn colours and trees, blow away the cobwebs, and then come back and read some more. We're back from our walk, and as you can probably tell, I did some leaf hunting while we were out. What I really want to do this year, I was inspired by something on Morgan Long's channel, and she's got this big frame that she's filled with pressed autumn leaves, and it looks beautiful, and I really want to do something like that. I've been keeping my eye out for the perfect frame and collecting leaves. I picked some off the floor. I gathered some leaves a couple of weeks ago, but I've just left them on the sides and they've sort of all curled in. So what I'm going to do, I think, with these ones is put them between some pieces of kitchen roll and then press them in between books, and hopefully that will keep them as they are, nice and flat and preserved. So I'm going to press them now. I've got a whole array of colours. Got some really nice red ones. This one's my favourite, I think. But this one, how beautiful is that? Oh, it appears I bought a small bug inside. I'll have to get that. So yeah, I'm going to press these. I'm going to make a cup of tea because I think it is about time for another cup of tea. And I'm probably going to also get changed because I don't like wearing leggings all day. And then guess what? We're going to read some more. I'm going to get through a couple more chapters. So let's go. Okay, so now I just need to not forget that they're there. Find a frame, put them in the frame. It out with another spoon. Oh, come here. What has happened to you? Oh, that's hot. This mug is so much bigger than I remember, and it swallows spoons. Okay, spooky reading snacks have been acquired. Let's dive back in and get through a couple more chapters of Rebecca, shall we? She was not very happy with me because we normally have a big cuddle, don't we, at night time? We normally have a big cuddle in bed at night time. And last night, because I was trying to stay awake to read, I stayed down here. So she had to stay in her little den down here to get comfy, and she couldn't lie with me, and she was not happy about that. So I've had a very needy little pup today, needing lots of cuddles because we didn't get our usual nighttime cuddles. Oh dear, it's very sad, isn't it? Very sad, missing out on our nighttime cuddles. Where have we made it to in the book? I've made it to okay, so I've just finished chapter 13. I'm gonna try and blast through a little bit more of the book before taking another break. The intrigue is starting to build in the book. We're starting to hear a little bit more about Rebecca and our main character, who you actually never learn her name, I don't think. But our main character is starting to gradually be brave enough to try and find out a bit more about Rebecca and a bit more about what happened, and a mysterious guest has just arrived at the house, and it's all starting to get more and more intriguing, and I'm very keen to learn more. And the setting is as luscious and beautiful as ever. You can picture it so clearly in your head, and I really want to go to the house, and it's a shame that it's not actually real. Yeah, you can just, it's one of those books that you can just see everything and smell everything and hear everything, and it's just you're in it, and you want to be in it, and you want to live there, and you want to be in the world. And I'm yeah, really enjoying so far. What are you doing? Oh, I see. That was sassy, wasn't it? What are you doing? Okay, my eyes are getting pretty tired, so we're gonna take a little reading break and make some gingerbread cookies, which I'm very excited for. It is the grand tradition when I'm making these cookies to also watch Twilight at the same time, so that's what I'm gonna put on right now. I made these a couple of weeks ago watching the first Twilight, so now we're gonna watch New Moon, Twilight number 2, and make some cookies. Okay, let's get baking. This is the best bit. If you don't lick the batter when you're making cookies, you are missing out on a treat. Like, what else are you supposed to do when the cookies are in the oven but lick out the bowl? Also, I love rewatching the Twilight films because they're so campy, but my god, as I get older, I get more and more annoyed by Edward. I think I was always Team Jacob deep down, but every year I find Edward just a little bit more insufferable.
a child. Colors like soundtrack. Good riddance.
Well, they seem great.
Wow.
Okay, so these cookies have to go in the freezer for at least 30 minutes. You can leave them for like a day or two if you want. Well, probably like a month. You can leave them for however long you want frozen, but at least 30 minutes before you cook them, otherwise I think they're just too soft and they'll just, you know. So I'm gonna whack them in there for now and then probably bake them this evening. I'm not sure, whenever I can tear myself away from the book again. Okay, I think I need to get out of the house for a little bit, but I want to carry on reading. So I think I'm going to head to a local cafe and pick up a to-go coffee and then try and go on a bit of an autumn drive, see some trees, find somewhere pretty to pull up and have a little bit of a read in the car and then come back home and get cozy because yeah, I just need to I just need to get out again. I just need to look at something else apart from the house. So this is the outfit. What do we think? Some shoes. Are we cute? Are we autumnal? I hope so. We've got the bag and of course we've got the book. So ready to go. I've just pulled in at one of my favourite lay-bys. It's sort of in this really nice valley of trees and today is the perfect autumn day for it. All the leaves are starting to turn. In the UK we get our peak colours quite late, so it's the middle of October right now and there's still a lot of green. There is like orange leaves and yellow leaves and like a lot of them are starting to turn, but I'd say really only just starting. Yeah, I mean there's lots of green behind me, isn't there? It's like the very start of the autumn colours, which is nice because I do think it peaks like late October, early November, which means we're like peaking for Halloween, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I'm here. I've got some lovely orangey brown leaves in front of me. It's foggy today, which is my absolute favourite kind of autumn weather, so everything's a little bit faded off in the distance and just looks beautiful. Oh my god, there's a crow. Let me get it, let me get it. How beautiful. Hi, aren't you gorgeous? Oh my goodness. Hi. Oh my goodness, that just actually made my day. I think it's a crow, I'm not sure, because ravens have bigger beaks, don't they? So I think it's probably a crow. But either way, that's just actually made my day, like added to the autumn ambiance. It swooped down from a tree over there, swooped down in front of the car and then landed on the wall that's to my left and just looked at me for a minute and then flew away and but yeah, I've got my pumpkin spiced latte, actually my first one of the season, which is a bit late for me, but I've just not really had a chance to get one. So I've got a little pumpkin spiced latte and I picked up a Bakewell tart as well. And yeah, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the view and read some more of Rebecca. my god, okay, so how do I say this without saying too much? Got to the big ball, the party, and I was having so much fun reading it because our main character was so excited for it, and I thought, oh, finally, like, she's finding her footing and something's gonna go her way and we're gonna have this lovely party and it's gonna be really good. No, that's not what happened. If you know, you know. If you read the book, all I can say is Mrs. Danvers, what a... Oh, I was big mad. I was big mad. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I was very sad for our girl, because it really felt like this was going to be like a turning point in her finding her footing in the house, and well, it was just awful, wasn't it? It was just awful. So that's where we're at, and I'm going to I need a minute, I need a break, I need a minute, otherwise I'll be crawling inside this book and having words with Mrs. Danvers. I need to calm down. So I'm going to put my autumn playlist on and drive home and look at the trees on the way home and calm down, and then we'll dive back in and find out what happens. I've just read the bit where Mrs. Danvers shows our main character Rebecca's room, and I repeat my sentiment from earlier of what a... why have you got to be so mean? Why have you got to be so creepy? Loved it though. It was a really eerie scene. I was here for the vibes, I was here for the spooky foggy day, I was here for the spooky room, but chill out, Mrs. Danvers, you know? Oh. Oh my gosh, okay, I have just finished chapter 19. If you know, you know. If you've read it, you know. I don't know how to say this without spoiling if you haven't read it. Oh, but the chapters, I'm trying my best not to look ahead. The chapter's finished on a bit of a cliffhanger. Maxime's revelation, shall we say. What a... ooh, hi. It's getting intense. This is how far through we are. I think in the first half of the book I didn't have much to update you on, apart from just how lovely it was and how lovely the writing was and how atmospheric it was. But in the second half of the book, things are happening, the pace is picking up. Ooh, things are happening, and I so badly want to keep reading, but my tummy is grumbling louder and louder, so I'm gonna have to go make some dinner. But I don't know if this was what I was expecting or not. I kind of was, but also kind of wasn't, because you're very much trapped in the main character's thought process for the book, and she doesn't really know anything about what's going on, so it's hard to sort of look outside of her view and think about what really might be happening. So I don't know. I am surprised and I'm not surprised at the same time, and I'm excited to keep reading, but I'm hungry. I need some dinner, so let's go make some dinner and then And then we can find out what happens. Touch. Yes. So I know we're on such a cliffhanger with the book and I'm desperate to find out what happens next, but I've been watching Wednesday at the weekends this month. I'm doing 2 episodes a weekend because there's 8 episodes in total. So if I do 2 every weekend in October, then I can spread it out throughout the month, and I really want to watch an episode tonight. So I think I'm going to have a little reading break, watch an episode of Wednesday with dinner, and then carry on reading and find out what happens next. Wednesday.
Is that because you're the only one on the other staff? To tell you the truth, because if I don't care if people dislike me. If you ever need anyone to talk to, it's never been concerned.
Good to see you too.
How'd you get past the housemaster? Use your siren powers?
Not what we missed. You suddenly have a thing for tragic gospels with funeral parlor fashion sense?
Maybe it's because she hasn't tried to manipulate me.
Okay, snuggly again, back in my pajamas, ready to carry on reading and blast through the last bit of Rebecca. I am sleepy. Sika is sleepy too. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to sit on the sofa because I think I might fall asleep. I think I'm going to have to maybe just stay sitting on the floor and keep moving around and keep walking and stretching because we are on the home stretch. I've not got much more to go and I really want to know. I feel like we had the big revelation of what happened and there's like more to go than I would have expected after this point, and I think it's all, I don't know, I'm assuming all the rest of the book is deciding or finding out the consequences. I don't know, there's more to the book after where I'm at than I thought there would be. I don't know if I'm making sense, I'm so tired. But I think I'm just going to, at this point, just like try and blast through to the end, and I will catch up with you when I'm finished, hopefully, or I'll be asleep. No, I'm gonna stay awake, we're so close to the end. I'm gonna catch up you, oh my god, I'm gonna catch up with you. One more time. I'm going to catch up with you when I've finished, because I will finish. We're going to do it, and we will discuss. I did it, you guys. Oh my gosh, I am so tired and I so desperately need to sleep, but I've done it and I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I'm not gonna lie. Would I do this again? Not in a hurry, but like, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to remember my first experience reading Rebecca, and I think that's the main thing. That's sort of why I did it, because I wanted to make it special. Okay, here's my non-spoiler thoughts. It's great. If you haven't read this, I highly, highly recommend it. She's eating her foot. She's hit the loopy stage of being tired because she's been trying to stay awake with me because she's not sure what I'm doing. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Yeah, this, if you want a rich, vibrant, luscious world to step into, I couldn't recommend it more. It's obviously, it's a big old book. The first half is more slow. It is really just setting the scene. I did think it was going to be a bit more twisty than it was. I thought there was going to be like way more shocking moments and twists and turns and oh my god things, but it is a really slow build. The first half of the book is really truly just laying the foundation and setting the scene, but you have so much fun being at Manderley House and being in the world. It's just so lovely to be there, so you know, it's nice. And then in the second half things ramp up a little bit and we get to find out more and find out what actually happened. So yeah, that's my spoiler-free thoughts. Basically, would definitely recommend. And now I do have to actually talk about it, so if you don't want any spoilers, thank you very much for watching. You may exit now because I'm about to real talk with you. Here we go, you've been warned. So, my spoiler full thoughts are that I can't believe the ending. I get a little bit mad, I'm not gonna lie, when books finish the way this one finished, with just such a, it feels like you've reached such a pivotal moment and it just poof, finishes. The house is on fire. What? I thought we were gonna get much more of a tied up ending, and it's, you know, in some ways it's nice being open-ended because you can imagine it how you want to, but then in some ways it's annoying because you don't get the full closure that you need. You're just clinging to the hope of what you hoped happened. Obviously at the start of the book, the very beginning, is our main character in the future and she's with somebody and they're not in Manderley House, so you do know that they've not been living there, but I kind of assumed that they just made the decision to move away because of bad memories. I also kind of low-key thought that she was going to be with Frank in that future that we started off in, and reading the book I was convinced that she was going to realise that she was in love with Frank and that this thing with Maxine was just like some more childish infatuation. It never really seemed like love to me, and maybe it wasn't because she was so young, she didn't know any better. It was the first time she'd ever been in love, and it was definitely not reciprocated in the way it should have been. And her relationship with Frank was just so, to me, that was what like a foundation of a loving and caring relationship should be. And I was reading all the way through this book expecting that at the end we'd jump back into like the present day, the future where we started, and that she was going to be with Frank. So I've been reading the whole thing waiting to see how we got there and what happened, and whether Maxine was going to get arrested, like whether she just left him. I was and maybe, I don't know, this is the thing, because of the way it left, I could just decide in my head that that's what happened, that she left Maxime and went with Frank and they live abroad now and don't really talk about it, although that's probably not what's actually happened. But again, this is the good and the bad thing about it being so left open to interpretation at the end, because it could be what I want it to be, but it's probably not, and we're never gonna know. It's also so intriguing reading, I guess, the investigation into Rebecca's death lies so much on like logic and hearsay and listening to people's testimonies. I'm not sure, I'm assuming that's relatively true of the time that this was set, which is the 1920s, I think. So I'm assuming this is that's relatively true of how investigations were conducted at the time, especially of such like a cold case. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting how, you know, it's not like it is in detective stories today where there's, you know, this forensic evidence and fingerprints and DNA tying you to the scene. It was like people just stand up and tell their side of the story, and they sort of logic out what they assume the truth must be based on what everybody said, and it's just whatever story makes the most sense is the one that they go with. I liked the little twist about what we found out at the doctor's. I think that it's probably in there to more justify or make Maxime's killing of Rebecca less horrific. I mean, obviously she was not a nice person, so I don't think we're supposed to feel too bad, but the fact that she was ill and going to die anyway, I'm assuming was meant to lessen that blow. So yeah, overall happy. I mean, I loved the book, It's just one of them endings that you're like, oh, you just give us a little bit more. I don't know, I always think I would prefer much more tied up endings, even if they're tied up in the way that you don't want or tied up in a horrible way. I think I like definite endings more than just open to interpretation endings, because at least you know. But yeah, my closing thoughts: loved it, would recommend. Thought that the main character was going to end up with Frank, sort of surprised at the way it went. Also can't believe she doesn't have a name. I've just had to call her our main character. Oh, hello, I'm still here. It was me. I think I'm back. Am I back? I've got no idea. I can barely even see. My eyes are so blurry and like stingy. You know, when your eyes just sting and then you close them and it's like all tingly and they start watering at the relief of being closed. That's where I'm at right now. So I don't know if I'm making sense. If you've watched this whole day with me, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. Please like it if you liked it, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I am going to go to sleep now. Okay. Good night. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I don't know what's going on.